Yo, welcome to Simply Bitcoin Live, your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution with code breaking news, culture, manic warfare. We will be your guide through the separation of money and state. Interesting. It just came out. Looks like the SEC and basically the government and connect us because we've been covering this for the last 2 or 3 days, right? Nick Carter wrote an excellent piece, which we covered on yesterday's episode. Also, Binance was stopping US dollar withdrawals or transfers, right? And then another thing that just happened, right, which is the SEC agreed on a settlement with Kraken. Kraken agreed to pay $30 million, and they also agreed to stop staking in the US. All the crap coin exchange casino owners are freaking out. That's a huge part of their business model, right? We know that Ethereum, since they migrated to proof of stake, that's like a big portion of their validator thing. So is that going to be allowed? Is that going to be legal? What's going on here? A lot of questions. But I think this highlights the fact that, once again, right, things that are not actually decentralized are easy targets. They're low-hanging fruit for the state. And I think that is what we're witnessing here. And I think that this will continue to happen. And of course, all the thing that actually lit the match was the FTX blow up, right? But I think this was going to happen anyways. I think this is inevitable. Like we said in the beginning of the show, this is the separation of money and state. Do you think that the state isn't going to fight back? And I know a lot of people are thinking it's like, this is a good thing, right? You know, the US government is shutting down these shitcoin casinos or they're stopping people from getting fraud. I come from a more perspective of let the free market do what the free market does best. And I think Bitcoin is just going to dominate in that field anyways. I don't think it needs help. And again, like I'm not a big fan of government intervention. That's my take. But anyways, we have all the details about the news in regards to the Kraken fine. Also, very interesting news coming out of the Mississippi Senate. They passed a historic bill in regards to Bitcoin. So we have the video. We're going to talk about all that. But before we start the show, I want to bring up my legendary co-host. He's filling up for Opti today. He is the third member of Simply Bitcoin. His name is Rustin. He's dropping some amazing clips. I think we should definitely talk about that potentially during the culture, especially your last bit, and get into the idea of what these clips are for, what they're about, what their purpose is. Anyways, how you doing, Rustin?
Doing good, Nico, but my yield, bro. What happened? Oh, who's next on the chopping block? That's what I'm looking forward to here. Some interesting things. SEC. I mean, it's like, here's Gary, coming right through the door. Keep your head on a swivel, shit corners. He's coming for you.
Oh man. Yeah, dude. It's a bad day to be a shit corner, that's for sure. And look, the reactions from the head of Coinbase has been, honestly, it's been quite entertaining, to be honest. That's just my 2 cents. Anyways, everybody, let's start the show. We have a lot to talk about.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Brought to you by Nodl. At this point, you should be running your own Bitcoin node. If you don't use your own Bitcoin node, you're trusting someone else's. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core, the Lightning Network, Whirlpool, and Dojo, all from the comfort of your own home. And if you're a digital nomad, you have absolutely no excuse because now you can run a Nodl through a virtual private server. Visit nodl.eu today. All right, guys, I also want to tell you about the biggest Bitcoin conference. It's coming up. It's going to be, definitely don't want to miss it. You can take advantage of the promo code, all caps, simply to get a 10% discount on your tickets. Of course, Opti, Rustin, and myself are going to be there. I hope to see a lot of you guys in the flesh. I want to go and give a shout out to some of the speakers, which it's going to be absolutely bonkers. Speaker list includes Michael Saylor, Lynn Alden, Alex Gladstein, Matt Odell, and many, many more. Like I said, you can take advantage of the promo code simply to get a discount on your Bitcoin 2023 tickets. Anyways, at the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is 21,600 sats per dollar, 4,631, block height 775,907, reachable Bitcoin nodes 13,630, blocks to the halvening 93, having estimate April 24, 2024, total Lightning Network capacity 5,362, capacity value $115 million, realized monetary inflation 1.76%, and the market capitalization of Bitcoin is $416 billion. I also want to welcome our guest who just joined the show. How you doing, Nolan? Welcome to Simply Bitcoin. Seems like he is having some audio issues right now, so continuing with the show. Anyways, also want to check out this video. We could talk about it during the numbers segment. This is a historic moment. Mississippi Senate passes a bill protecting Bitcoin. Let's take a listen onto what that sounded like. Let me pull it up. Here we go. So let's take a listen to what that sounded like. Crazy, crazy day. I mean, look, and I want you also guys to pay attention to the opposing forces. And it's basically the better flag theory, right? Where, some jurisdictions are going to be hostile towards Bitcoin. Some jurisdictions are going to be friendly towards Bitcoin. So New York State hostile towards Bitcoin, and that presents an opportunity for another state to pick that up. We saw that when China banned Bitcoin mining within the borders. The hash rate recovered within 9 months, and also the hash rate decentralized all over the world. So unless there's like this worldwide combination of governments banning Bitcoin all at the same time, which is completely unlikely, highly improbable, it presents an opportunity for someone else to pick up where, and Opti says it best, right? And that's a quote that I'm going to use, right? You can't ban Bitcoin. You can only ban yourself from Bitcoin. Anyways, let's check out this video.
To explain the committee sub. Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a bill that sets up digital mining definitions and also definitions of a virtual currency, which is a digital representation of value that is either used as a medium of exchange or a store of value. It is not recognized by legal tender by the United States government. It also says that if you are buying or selling or issuing or taking custody of virtual currency or receiving virtual currency, you shall not require obtaining a money transmission license in order to do so. That's in Section 5. There is a reverse repealer. We're still working with some folks on some definitions, making sure we haven't missed anything. I think over 30 states have set up definitions in statute across the country for digital currency. And Mississippi is just joining the ranks of those that are doing so. That is the explanation of the bill.
So, dude, absolutely crazy, right? Protecting the right to self-custody. I think that's really the signal there. And I think that's huge because I think that was one of the things that was going to be attacked. Also, protecting Bitcoin transactions, right? So that you don't need a transmitter license. That was something that people were freaked out about. So I think this might be a state issue. I think states are going to fight for what's best for their people. And I think some states are going to be hostile. We've already seen that in New York State. So, I mean, this is crazy, but you see the fight, gearing up, bro. You see the hostility from the federal government. We read that piece yesterday from Nick Carter. And then you see a state being open to Bitcoin, but it's not also a state. You're seeing also countries as well. And this country happens to be somewhat, I wouldn't say hostile, but let's say the US government is hostile towards the country. Russian government subsidizes crypto mining facility in Siberia, right? So you have states and countries being friendly towards Bitcoin, the Bitcoin industry. And then you have countries like China, you have the current Biden administration, which is now towards Bitcoin mining. So it's really interesting to see this play out. And what stays in my mind is that quote from Opti, right? You can't ban Bitcoin. You can only ban yourself from Bitcoin. How you doing, Rustin?
Man, doing good. Good stuff right there. I like Lane down there is Kraken. Just might be. I wonder if like Jesse Powell kind of knew ahead of time. And we can see in Mississippi, someone was doing a lot of work down there. Maybe Dennis Porter planted those seeds and provided some good education so those people understood the benefit to the grid and the benefit to renewable energy and the incentive the Bitcoin mining provides there. And like you said, the game theory is playing out with different states and nations. The thing is that Bitcoin benefits everybody involved, regardless of where they are, what their political affiliation is, or whatever it may be. For example, Bitcoin protects Russia from authoritarian sanctions through the UN and these different things, cutting them off from the SWIFT system. But also the US, you benefit from adopting Bitcoin by maybe you maintain and can still be that shining city upon the hill for decades and decades to come. And you can save yourself from the cycle, the inflationary cycle, and from a Weimar type collapse by eventually weaponizing the dollar and backing it with Bitcoin, as some have theorized.
Absolutely. Anyways, let's see. Our guest, it seems like he's still having some audio issues, but hopefully he'll join us soon. Anyways, everybody. Oh, seems like he came on. Nolan, could you hear us?
I can hear you, but it ain't going well, guys. It ain't going well. I run a daily restream show for an hour every morning, and I don't have trouble. I'm on a sailboat right now, fleeing American authorities. Well, actually, just making sure I don't spend too much time on our fiat-backed shores. So we might have to reschedule, team. I don't think this is going well.
Seems like you're coming in good though, bro. Your audio is good. So we could roll with it and see where this goes. If you want. It's all up to you. I don't know. Anyways, everybody.
Not getting anything, guys. This is
all good. All good. Anyways, guys, this is the live show. We have to roll with it. Let's get to the news. We have a lot to talk about.
The Daily News.
Brought to you by Blockstream Jade, built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. It's an open source hardware wallet for the cold storage of Bitcoin. Blockstream Jade houses a full color camera, allowing for fully air-gapped Bitcoin transactions. Scan and display QR codes directly on the device to sign transactions and verify addresses with ease. Use your Blockstream Jade with your favorite wallet software, such as the Blockstream Green, Blue Wallet, Electrum, and Sparrow. Get yourself a Blockstream Jade today and take self-custody of your Bitcoin. All right, everybody, at the time of recording, it seems like Nolan was continuing to have some technical difficulties. So we are the show must go on, right? Anyways, so check this out. I was gonna say at the time of recording, there's a lot going on nowadays, guys. Bear with me. So check out this tweet is by Eleanor. Eleanor is a journalist, and she went on to say, this is before the news dropped, by the way. It says Gary Gensler is embarking on a, quote, midnight massacre in an attempt to bring all of crypto under his control. In the coming weeks, the SEC Gov, NYDFS, and the USOCC will be bringing a myriad of enforcement actions against exchanges and banks. Here is the CEO of the largest shitcoin casino, Coinbase. Before the news dropped, he said, we're hearing rumors that SEC would like to get rid of crypto staking in the US for retail customers. I hope that's not the case, as I believe it would be a terrible pass for the US if that was allowed to happen. So, and then the hammer fell. Kraken agreed to shutter US crypto staking operations to settle SEC charges. Goes on to say, Kraken has agreed to shut down its cryptocurrency staking operations to settle charges with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, according to an industry source briefed on the matter. The SEC on the settlement during a closed-door commissioner meeting on Thursday afternoon, and an announcement may come later in the day, the industry person told CoinDesk. A Kraken spokesman declined to comment, and SEC spokesman declined to comment after the publication of the article. The SEC confirmed Kraken would shut down its staking services for U.S. customers after the publication of the article. Kraken offers a number of services under its staking umbrella, including a crypto lending product offering up to 24% yield. This is also expected to shut down under the settlement, the industry person said. Kraken's staking service offered a 20% APY, promising to send customers staking rewards twice per week, according to the website. Bloomberg reported that Kraken was close to a settlement with the SEC over offering unregistered securities on Wednesday. The vote comes a day after Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong. We just covered that. So anyways, and then the fine that that Kraken received was around 30 million US dollars. Now, a couple interesting points here. So interesting point number one is that this is going to force these exchanges overseas. This only applies to US customers. So if you're a US customer, I don't think you'll be able to stake stuff. But I mean, if you're a Bitcoiner, we've been telling you, stay away from that. That's a scam. Stay in Bitcoin. Anyways, here's this clip from Gary Gensler. He was on CNBC. Let's check it out, and then we'll talk about it.
It's great to see you this morning. There's a phrase online where they say, tell it to me like I'm 5. So for those who are uninitiated into what happened here, tell it to me like I'm 5. What was Kraken doing, and what was the problem that you were trying to solve?
Andrew, what Kraken was doing was asking the American public for their coins, crypto tokens, and saying, I'll give you a return, 4% to 21% returns. And the problem was they were not disclosing to the investing public the risks that the investing public was entering into. And we have a basic bargain in the United States since the 1930s. You can take whatever risks you want. Companies like Kraken can offer investment contracts and investment schemes, but they have to have full, fair, and truthful disclosure. And this puts the investors who watch your program in a better position. That's our basic bargain. They were not complying with that basic law.
So how does this, though, differ, for example, from some of the other firms out there, including Coinbase, who offer yield products?
Whether you call it, the labels don't matter. Long ago, Supreme Court Justice Marshall said this so eloquently. It's not about the labels, it's about the underlying economics. And this really should put everyone on notice in this marketplace, whether you call it lend, whether you call it earn, whether you call it yield, whether you offer what's called an annual percentage yield, APY, that doesn't matter. If somebody's taking their tokens and transferring it to that platform, the platform controls it. And guess what happens if they go bankrupt? You stand in line at the bankruptcy court. There's a saying in crypto that says, not your keys, not your coins. So those other platforms should take note of this and seek to come into compliance, do the proper disclosures and registration and the like.
Okay, so but here's one of the big issues, as I think you know, which is this staking service is going to no longer be available to customers in the U.S. But interestingly, they're going to still offer the same product internationally, abroad, outside of the United States. And so it raises this larger policy question as to whether crypto, these types of products just move offshore. Maybe that's what you want, and that's a good thing. But then whether what you do about the American citizenry who's then using VPNs and all sorts of other things to skirt around what's happening here.
Look, we're technology neutral at the SEC, but we're clearly very focused on investor protection. 330 million Americans are our clients. These firms, Kraken knew how to register, others know how to register. It's just a form on our website. They can come in, talk to our talented people in disclosure review teams. And if they want to offer staking, we're neutral. Come in, register, because investors need that disclosure. What are you doing with the tokens? Are you trading against the tokens? Are you borrowing against the token? Are you using them for your own purposes? And we've seen this in the crypto field. So investors not only need that disclosure, but it's the law.
What are your thoughts on that, Rustin?
Well, we know Gary, right? For those that may not know, he taught a Bitcoin course at MIT. He understands that technology. He has come out and said Satoshi's creation is real, and he's very skeptical about pretty much everything else. And it's almost like, I don't know, for years, people have been screaming that these things were securities and that coins were being rehypothecated. And then this happens and everyone's surprised. They're not going to go at individual tokens XYZ. That's stupid. That's a waste of resources. Why do they call it Operation Choke Point? Right? So you get to the root of it, which is the exchanges. So if they go there, then you can get more bang for your buck if you're an SEC enforcement, if that makes sense, right?
So you're saying this isn't about protecting the people. This is politics, is what you're saying.
I'm saying for Gary to get after as many unregistered securities in one pop as possible, it's to go hit the exchanges and he knows what's going on there. He's familiar with the technology. You're not gonna sneak things by him. So yeah, Coinbase, they've talked about Paxos and the different stable coins, anything where you're doing yield and staking. Oh, what about a protocol that operates on proof of stake? Maybe they just shot themselves in the face.
Yeah, dude, and it's 100% true. And then kind of tag this or combine this with what we saw when the U.S. Treasury released that blog post that inevitably led to, like it was like 60 to 70% last time I checked, 60 to 70% of the Ethereum validators actively censoring for the government. So are they really
compliant?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
There was that recent post where there was a .ether like begging and shilling to put their CBDCs on Ethereum. I mean, just look at the statist mentality.
Yeah, dude, it's absolutely bonkers. So check this out. This came out a day after Brian Armstrong tweeted what he originally said. He said, we will keep fighting for economic freedom, quote, or parentheses, our mission at Coinbase. Some days being the most trusted brand in crypto means protecting our customers from government overreach. Like, oh man. So many comments. Let's check out some of the Bitcoiners. So Stefan Livera says, Coinbase has promoted and sold so many scam coins. I don't see how you can claim to be the most trusted brand. Beats the most trusted brand in crypto. It's a meme and says how to buy shitcoin. And then this person says, protect government overreach, yet you delisted XRP. Like, and just it's an absolute clown show. Anyways, I want to go back to the specifics of the fine that was paid. So there's a CoinDesk article for audio listeners. It says Kraken to shut down U.S. crypto staking service, pay $30 million fine and SEC settlement. The announcement by the U.S. regulator confirms a CoinDesk scoop from earlier Thursday. Crypto exchange Kraken will immediately end its crypto staking as a service platform for U.S. customers and pay $30 million to settle Securities and Exchange Commission charges it offered unregistered securities, the U.S. agency announced Thursday. The decision confirms a CoinDesk scoop from earlier in the day. Payward Ventures Inc. and Payward Trading, the registered companies that made up Kraken, will end staking services and programs, the SEC said. The programs offered the general public access to staking services since at least 2019. Quote, the complaint alleges that Kraken touts that its staking investment program offers an easy-to-use platform and benefits that derive from Kraken's efforts on behalf of investors, including Kraken's strategies to obtain regular investment returns and payouts. In a blog post, Kraken said it would automatically unstake any assets staked by U.S. clients except for stake Ether. Interesting, isn't that? Which would be unstaked until the Ethereum network's Shanghai upgrade takes effect. U.S. clients will also be unable to stake new assets. Non-U.S. clients are unaffected, which is fascinating, man. So, I mean, look, is this another example, Rustin, of the U.S.? And again, like, this is such a tricky subject because the Bitcoiner in me is like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. And then the kind of like the libertarian in me is kind of like, okay, like here is the US government getting involved. It's conceding, basically it's giving opportunities to businesses overseas to flourish, and connect this what we were talking about yesterday with the Operation Choke Point, right? Operation Choke Point isn't going to destroy the industry. It's just going to force the industry overseas, right? So, I mean, like, it's bittersweet. Of course, if you're a Bitcoiner, if you've taken Bitcoin into self-custody, none of this would have affected you. You're watching on the sidelines with popcorn and you're just like, wow, this is interesting. So, I mean, but holy cow. I mean, this is another example of the US government's continued hostility towards the industry. But look, there is a silver lining, and the silver lining is that I've heard from multiple regulators that they see Bitcoin as a commodity and not a security. But I'm hesitant to that language because, again, it's not just hostility towards the shitcoin industry. They've been also hostile towards the Bitcoin mining industry as well. And this is what makes me bullish on localization, right? I'm so bullish on local governments. I'm bullish that law from Mississippi. That's why I played it in the very beginning. Not only protecting Bitcoin mining, but also protecting individuals in Mississippi, protecting their ability to transact with a non-state currency, right? Which I thought was absolutely incredibly important. And I think they see the writing on the wall, Rustin. I think they see the moves, the shadow moves by the federal government in the background, the hostility towards the industry. And then they say, okay, we got to get ahead of this. And also Cynthia Lummis introduced a bill, right? From, if my memory serves me correctly, where she wants to protect the right to self-custody as well. Or it might have been Warren Davidson. But I think they see the writing on the wall. I think they see that as the next attack vector. And I think you're already seeing this with the vocabulary that's being floated around, like terms like unhosted wallet, right? The hostility from, European regulators. So anyways, dude, this is going to be a fight. This is the separation of money and state after all. It's a good day to be a Bitcoiner. You feel vindicated. You feel like I told you so. But I'm also wary. I'm wary, right? Because I'm wary whenever there's government intervention. I want Bitcoin to beat the shitcoins, which I know it can, has better incentives on the free market. I'm not a fan of the government picking and choosing the losers, the winners and losers. Now, one last thing before I pass it on to you, Rustin. I'm curious, what's going to happen with Ethereum now? Right? The vast majority of people don't have the hardware. They do not have the hardware to run Ethereum. So is this going to force even more centralization? Right? And then is this individuals that can't stake either, or is this just exchanges? Because if they're setting the precedent with exchanges, how does that relate to proof of stake coins? Right? It's all very important questions. I have no idea where this is going. But again, this is another shot in the separation of money and state. I know if you're a Bitcoiner, you're celebrating. But I would ask you to be wary. I would ask you to be wary. These types of moves are not just going to affect certain things. And again, Gary Gensler or the Biden administration, they're not incentivized. They want to keep that power. They want to keep that privilege of being able to issue money for free that everyone else has to work for. So again, like, you could celebrate, but at the same time, like, be cautious. And that's how I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling cautious about this. If you're a Bitcoiner, this doesn't affect you though. Anyways, what's your take, Rustin? We'll move on to the culture.
Yo, Fiat Smack said it good down there. Interesting was the fact that Gary was promoting self-custody, right? Now, isn't it much easier to regulate and keep track of everything when you're just purchasing and then taking self-custody of your whatever shitcoinery or whatever it may be? Now, it should be Bitcoin, but is he pushing people in that direction because then it's less of a regulatory burden in the future? I don't know. Or is he pushing people to understand what a truly decentralized protocol is? Possibly. Another thing, Mr. Robot was right. Armstrong is a cuck. And I had another thought. What if it's a test to see what protocols can actually stand up to certain pressure points like this, and to verify that Bitcoin is what it is before the United States were to truly adopt it? I don't know, getting hypothetical here.
Okay. So you're taking a more optimistic approach. Okay. You're a Gensler fan, I take it.
Not a fan, but I'm just trying to look at and think of all the possibilities that could be there, right? Like praxeology, what are all the possible outcomes? And then we trickle down into what is the outcome. And F.A. Hayek, he talked about this future where you would have competing monies. Well, all the rest are showing themselves that they can't, because they can be controlled, silenced, stopped, mitigated by the state. And so this one true protocol is starting to rise to the top to be that one true money that originated from the market. And we're seeing that, and all these new developments with Bitcoin. Don't know where to go with that yet, personally. But I just see Austrian economics playing out. We're seeing game theory play out, and we're seeing that honey badgerness of the Bitcoin coming out, and all this shit that happens, and all these people throwing their hands up. Well, if you're a Bitcoiner, you've already got your Bitcoin in cold storage, self-custody. You sleep well at night. Well, these guys are. Can you unstake your Metherium? Like, I don't know how the hell this works. We are in uncharted territory.
We are in uncharted territory.
Did Ethereum kill itself? I think they did.
They might have, dude. Oh man, like what? Hey, dude, spot on. They might have. This might. Oh man, so funny, so funny. And that explains like why they're so cozy up to.
And
Like,
Gensler is low key exposing them in a way. Like, he's never made that out as an intention. He said that they're securities. No one came around to register. Now he has nothing to do but to enforce it and to get the most bang out of his buck with each enforcement.
Yep.
And that's to set precedents, and that's to get certain choke points with the exchanges.
Yep, I completely agree. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. All right, everybody, let's get to the culture. We got a lot to talk about.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today. All right, everybody, I want to give a shout out to Unconfiscatable. This is going to be an awesome Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it's a poker tournament. Speaker list includes Tone Bays, Jimmy Song, Adam Back, Jack Mahlers, Greg Foss, and many, many more. You can take advantage of the promo code Simply10 to get a discount to Unconfiscatable. Also, check out BitBlock Boom to be the largest Bitcoin conference in Austin, Texas. You don't want to miss it. You can take advantage of the promo code Simply Bitcoin, get a discount on Unconfiscatable, and of course, the big kahuna, the Bitcoin 2023 conference coming up in Miami Beach, Florida. Talking about it in the beginning of the show. Hope to see a lot of you guys there. You can use the promo code Simply, get a discount on that. Anyways, today during the culture, I want to highlight a new types of content that are coming out of Simply Bitcoin. I want to talk about the clips, and this is why we have Rustin on today. We're going to check out some of his clips. So this is a clip that he did on Friedrich Hayek, Bitcoin Changes Money. It's a new type of Simply Bitcoin content. It's completely different. It's in the shorter form. I'm going to play some of the video today, and we'll talk about it. Let's check it out.
Almost unique among economists of some reputation of practically never having been tied up in government work. And I think it has done me a lot of good. Government work corrupts.
Every second of every day, the hard-earned money of the world's citizens is devalued by government policies and money printing. They're making prices rise when they should be falling and making it more difficult than ever for people to plan and save for the future. Nobel Prize winner F.A. Hayek rightly blamed governments for the inflation of the 1970s in his short book, The Denationalization of Money. He offers a novel proposal. How are Hayek's ideas relevant today? Look no further than Bitcoin and the separation of money and state revolution.
That one of the greatest misfortunes could happen in the field of economics if people ever cease to believe in the quantity theory of money, except that should ever come to take it literally.
In fact, you're really arguing that monetarism is an example of the more general error of thinking that you can know too much, you can know all of the facts of some economic problem.
Oh yes, you can put it this way, that the aggregates or sums, averages, which statistics offer you are no substitute for the detailed knowledge of every single price and their relations to each other, which really guide economic activity. That's a mistaken attempt to overcome our limited knowledge.
But there doesn't seem to be any great difference between you on policy.
No, well, if you look, forget about money for the moment, we completely agree. We agree in free markets, we may not entirely agree which form of monetary system is most favorable to an efficient market operation of the market.
Because you would prefer to have competing money, so that...
Oh, I'm absolutely convinced that no government is capable of, politically or intellectually, of providing exactly the amount of money which is needed for smooth economic development. And I should be all in favor. In fact, I'm convinced that we shall never have decent money again before we take from government the monopoly of issuing money and allow competing institutions, of course under different names, not issue the same money, but competing monies, and let people decide which kind of money they prefer to use.
Born in 1899 in Vienna, F.A. Hayek is a legend of sorts in voluntarist, libertarian, and free market economic circles. Hayek declares that the only way to return to sound money is to take it out of the hands of government. He goes on to describe in spine-chillingly fortuitous fashion a money that requires no permission and no central authority. Hayek was a key thinker and innovator of the Austrian School of Economics. The Austrian system is a classic economic model in which government interference in the free market is undesired and viewed as harmful and illogical. The conflicting viewpoint and economic model which holds sway today is that of the Keynesian system, that governments must be actively involved in economies via centralized regulation and force-backed implementation of monetary policy.
For most purposes, you have practically no choice but to use the established currency. I think that has to change, and I doubt even whether present governments would not effectively suppress at once any development in that direction. They are very keen on preserving their monopoly because, of course, their ability to pursue something like monetary policy depends on this monopoly. Abolishing the government monopoly of the issuing money would deprive governments of the possibility of pursuing monetary policy. That's what I want to say.
Yes.
But most people believe monetary policy is an essential tool of government.
Cuckbucks or dollars are Keynesian manifestations that impoverish and lead to destruction, both foreign and domestic.
Driven by terror to near insanity.
While the view of almost all modern nation states is that interest rates must be set via policy, this would in fact be defined as a form of policing and intervention. Adherents to the Austrian school view the market as an organic entity, functioning by its own natural rules. Boom and bust cycles in business and things like stock market crashes are natural consequence of artificially instituted credit bubbles. Though Keynesian policy currently holds sway, many take issue with the fact that prescribed government interference and assistance seems so often to take the form of disruptive market corrections. Hayek viewed economic cycles as signals that an organic adjustment was in progress. Much like a headache can signal dehydration or stress, decreased demand and less spending signal hesitance on the part of market actors and call to readjust and recalibrate according to fresh, real-time market signals. As witnessed in 2008 with the mega bank bailouts, this Austrian bitter pill is not really allowed to function. Instead, Keynesian economists create more credit and debt which taxpayers must ultimately hold to save all the bad actors and institutions that would have otherwise failed.
I wonder if we could talk for a minute about how money evolved without the help of governments, and in present times it seems very much the hindrance of money from government interference. Carl Menger talked about the evolution of money as a sort of a natural phenomenon. How did money come about, and what's happened today to mess up things so much?
See, the great trouble is the money wasn't allowed to develop further. After 200 or 300 years of coins, all governments put their hands and stopped any further developments. They were not allowed to experiment on it. Money hasn't been improved. Money has rather become worse in the course of time, because unlike, say, you refer to Menger, and it's quite true that Menger, and before him Hume and Mandeville, made law, language, money, the three paradigms of spontaneously grown institutions. Now, fortunately, law and language have been allowed to develop. Money has originated in original form, but as soon as it was there in its most primitive form, it was frozen. Government said it must not develop any further. And what we have had since in development were matters of government inventions, mostly wrong, mostly abuses of money. And I have come to the position of asking, has monetary policy ever done any good? I don't think it has. I think it has done only harm. And that's why I am now pleading for what I've called denationalization of money.
The predictions of Hayek and the Austrian economists stand in stark contrast to Keynesians. A primary advocate of classical liberalism, Hayek believed it was markets, not states, that guaranteed individual liberty. For Hayek, liberty is, quote, a policy which deliberately adopts competition, markets, and prices as its ordering principles. Furthering this idea in his highly renowned The Road to Serfdom, he argued Germany and the Soviet Union's mistakes were in their state planning because it interfered in the natural operation of markets, disrupted liberty, and set society down a one-way street towards slavery. Many modern Austrians and free market advocates argue Bitcoin is the antithesis of state bureaucracy by breaking its monopoly on the volume of money in circulation, as well as...
All right, I'm stopping it there. If you guys want to watch the full video, definitely check out Rustin's clips that he's dropping. He's dropping 4 times a week nowadays, right?
Yeah, doing 4. So different things we're looking at. Like there, we take the big ideas of Hayek and try to make that understandable and relative to anyone. So we try to take people maybe from that Austrian libertarian realm and bring them into Bitcoin, bring them into our fold. But we're looking at doing education, news, Austrian economics, all those things we can do to benefit our viewers and also bring in new people to Bitcoin and try to break down Bitcoin and make it as simple to understand. And for me, understanding Austrian economics beforehand is why Bitcoin, just like the value proposition, clicked with me real quick because of that background knowledge, thanks to Ron Paul and Hayek. And I was going to say, bangarang, go read Road to Serfdom. It will change you, I promise. All right. That old guy is a legend. And you see, like, in some of his videos, like his charisma, and this is like Bitcoin, sound money, time preference, and these things, right? He was old, but he still was like young in spirit, laughing and talking shit on the government. Like he never lost his rebellious nature or approach. Pretty impressive guy. Hayek, Mises, all those guys. And Bitcoin is like the actionable living proof of those Austrian sound money theories actually being played out. And Beauty On had mentioned that, and we got a clip of Beauty On in that video, but tons of stuff, guys. Hopefully, if you got newbies or something, they need some educational material, go ahead and share it out. And we'll be hitting up tons of fresh news. We try to keep some comedy in there and to add our own flavor to it. So, yeah, they'll be coming, and we're just going to keep getting better as we keep building.
Absolutely, man. And what is your goal with these? Like what makes you passionate about making these?
I think a lot of people, and man, I had some students, and this is where we got into Hayek at the beginning when he says government work corrupts. Well, I used to be a teacher. I had to get the hell out of there because I'm a freedom maximalist. I'm a Bitcoiner like through and through. I couldn't deal with that. But I've had students, and I had some. They were big into like AOC and stuff like that, and I tried to introduce them to different ideas, because the thing is, everybody identifies the problems. We can see it. There's mass poverty, there's drug use, there's wealth disparity, but who's presenting solutions? And by saying, well, we just need more government and these things. So the young people are attracted to that sort of idea because they see some sort of solution in it without understanding there is, what would you say? And this is Austrian economics. Intervention begets intervention. So your past intervention in the market will create unintended problems and consequences that more law and more bureaucracy is going to have to come in and fix. And over time, this is how you have the blown up bureaucratic and administrative state that we have today. But I said, and they were younger ladies. So I said, hey, you ever heard of Tulsi Gabbard? You ever heard of Joe Jorgensen? So I'd pass them some of that material, and then they'd come back, hey, Mr. Watt, I kind of like that. That was cool. I never heard that kind of stuff before. And I was like, that's exactly what happened with me and Ron Paul. And then it changed my life. Once you get opened up to the ideas of liberty, the partisan politics and those things just kind of go to the wayside. You see how stupid it is. And you see how at the end of the day, they kind of are both on the same side. They're going to print money. They're going to have the welfare state, and they're going to start wars, and they're going to keep increasing the debt and blowing up that bureaucratic state. And unlike in Austria,
it's the money printer. It's the money printer, dude. The
Cantillon effect.
The money printer just makes the government bigger, and it's a redistribution mechanism. I completely agree. It's lower middle classes. They don't have the means to save in assets. It's a wealth redistribution method, bro. It takes from them that save in fiat, and it gives it to the government, and it gives it to the very wealthy that do have the means to save in assets. And yeah, it's completely continuing effect. And I think it's led to a lot of the woe. I completely agree with you. It leads to a lot of the woes that I think as a society we're experiencing today. Anyways, I'm super bullish on more of these. Which ones could you give the audience a little sneak peek on what Rustin clips you're going to be dropping in the next week?
Well, we're going to do one, maybe a little rehashing of today, but did Ethereum kill itself? What's going on out there with all these layoffs? Is the market crash imminent? What does the past tell us about these things when looking at maybe different things in the bond and treasury market? We're going to be looking at what's going on in Mississippi. We've already dropped one on the various states that had been adopting Bitcoin so far, so you can go check that out. And just, everything every day, Bitcoin moves very fast, and there's never a shortage of information or news to cover. And we've got tons of like FUD busting articles and different things we're going to be dropping in educational material. So keep up to date with that. It'll be on Twitter. We'll be dropping those clips on Twitter, on YouTube. We've got the amazing written material with the Substack, Zach Kaboom Rex. And who else we got? We got Weinicus just killing all those guys, man. They're killing it. Be sure to check that out. Share that with your friends and family. Orange Pill Grandma. Yes, Grandma needs Bitcoin too.
Everyone needs Bitcoin, bro.
Absolutely. So, and if you guys subscribe, you will get the Simply Bitcoin newsletter. And I think in the future, we'll be dropping maybe weekly or daily rundowns of the material that's out there, and maybe news bites you can all check out there. So be sure to subscribe there, subscribe here, and share the signal with everybody, because we're not stopping, and we're going to keep bringing more and more.
Absolutely, bro. All right, everybody, let's get to the meme review. Kaboom, Rex.
The Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Kaboom Racks. I get this question all the time. Nico, where should I buy Bitcoin miners? The answer is Kaboom Racks. It's the best place to buy Bitcoin miners. That's where you're going to find the best deals and the best prices. Start your mining utopia today. To check out their racks, you got to go to t.me/Kaboom Racks. Join their Telegram group and start your mining journey today. Kaboom Racks.
Kaboom Racks. Kaboom Racks. All right, everybody, let's get to the meme review. I haven't done this in a very, very, very long time, but good memories, good memories. Anyway, this first meme is by the Bitcoin Therapist. Says, drop your shit coins, choose Bitcoin. For audio listeners, it's Bitcoin is extending the hand, and this guy's hanging on a branch, and he has to choose between grabbing the hand or grabbing his bag of shit coins. And yeah, it's just true. I love this one. Shout out Bitcoin Therapist. Great meme. All right, next one by the Accountants on Twitter at CDCM99. If you're new, relax, go with the flow, and hodl. There's a pre-coiner in the plane, a hodler, a noob, an OG. Bitcoin, take the plunge. Absolutely love that. Next one by Dennis Parker. It's the two, it's the meme with the two guys. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's from The Predator, man. And they're just like this like strong handshake. Says Bitcoiners, crypto has no value, and crypto skeptics. Interesting. All right. Next one by Maxie's Club. Dropping awesome memes. Me pretending to have an opinion on Bitcoin development issues. Taproot, the Internet of Money. What kind of discount is this? Next one by Dick Whitman. Ethereum, Vitalik, 70% pre-mined, centralized proof of stake, unregistered security, unlimited supply, AWS servers. That is absolutely hilarious. Next one by Lightning Ventures. 8 billion people, only 21 million Bitcoin. Simple math. 21 million Bitcoin, 8 million people. Amazing, amazing. Very, very good. Oh, man. For those memes, Rustin, I'm going to give it this How Finney Bitcoin Lego. It's in the plastic
sick.
bag. I'm going to put it together. I put in or my girlfriend put in a plastic bag for the move. So shout out to her. Thank you for doing that for me. Anyways, that's my score. What's your score? And then we'll move on to the audience.
All right, so we talked about here's Gary. So I got a little Jack Torrance little guy over here. Let me see if you can see him.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Yep. Shit corners beware. Gary's coming. All right.
Dude, badass. Absolutely badass. Anyways, guys, you know what the deal is. This is Simply Bitcoin Live. Drop us your scores in the live chat. We will read it on the show. But before we do that, while you guys do that, I want to give a shout out to our awesome clothing sponsor. Rustin is wearing the hat, the Simply Bitcoin hat. Check it out. It's stylish. Oh, it says Simply Bitcoin in the back. And this is, of course, Represent on the side. And check out the Simply Bitcoin merch. This hoodie is sold out in small, medium, large. I think there's still XXLs left. You want to get it while supplies last. Of course, you can take advantage of the promo code Simply-Bitcoin. Get a 10% discount. Anyways, let's get to some of the scores. First one by Jose. Jose says, I give the memes Opti's new girlfriend, Planet Earth. I give the memes, and ETH definitely shot itself in the face. Shitcoin model with staking. Oh man. Oren, I give the memes a virgin sat that never sat, an ordinal inscription attached to it, and we got
a pure set.
We got BTC Sessions saying, "Yo, those Simply shirts are my fave new swag." Oh man, love you too, Ben. We're gonna touch the tips. It's coming soon. If you know, you know. And we're talking about our hair, of course. SpongeBob SquarePants, all coin have shot themselves in the foot at the very beginning. Anytime there is a pre-mine or pre-sale, the coin is captured coin. Only coin truly decentralized is BTC.
Look
Very
at Nico
nice.
P. Jones.
Nico P. Jones, PhD. The P stands for propagandist. Today's propaganda score, Gary going on the warpath because Opti stole Janet Yellen. Harder for me. Oh man, the plebs going hard in the plane. All right, guys, that was our show. We'll be back on Monday for a new episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. Don't forget to join our Telegram group. It's absolutely free. You got to go to www.t.me/simplybitcointv. Shout out to Darthcoin holding it down. And Rustin mentioned it earlier. Check out our Substack, also free, www.simplybitcoin.news. And shout out to our awesome team of writers. You guys are absolutely slaying it. Also, if you haven't already done so, make sure to subscribe to the audio version of this show. You can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Fountain. If you're a big fan of forgot to read Opti. We forgot something. We forgot to read the Fountain comments. We will do that on next week's episode, maybe on Monday. Don't you worry, but love you all. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. Opti will be back on Monday. Shout out to Rustin, third member of Simply Bitcoin. Thanks for coming on the show today. And I'm really looking forward to some more of those awesome clips that we gave you guys a sneak peek of on today's episode. Love you all. We'll see you on Monday for a brand new episode of Simply Bitcoin Live.